You told me something the other day, bro, and I can't believe all these years we've known each other, I didn't know this, and I was so impressed by it. But you don't write nothing down.
Don't write nothing down. I have not written anything down since City Lights, bro.
How do you train yourself to do that?
The funny thing is, I'm going to give a shout out to Jafar Life. Like, he one of the dudes that kind of like encouraged me to do it. When I was working on City Lights, I was writing my verse for Crank It Up. Man, I was really feeling the beat, and I was in the studio, and
that was a turn
a big
joint.
record at that point.
Yeah.
And Jafar Life was like, bro, you should just go in there and just see what come out. You know, so it started off with me going in the studio, playing the beat. I'll record a board, think, record the next board, think, record. It started off like that.
Yeah.
Then it just progressed from that into me just saying, well, I feel better when I ain't putting stuff down on paper.
Wado Radio.
Hello, how are you doing today? My name is DJ Wado, and I have a good friend of mine with me here, JSon.
What's up, my dude?
What's up, bro?
Thanks for having me, man. My pleasure.
It's always good to chop with you, man.
You know how we do, man.
I know, man, especially when you got this crispy white tee on, bro.
You know, man, what I did was I manufactured it before I came. You know, I had the what they call it, spin it.
You had the spindle?
Yeah, I had
the
spin
sewing
it.
machine
you know what
out
I mean?
there.
You got to make sure it's right. You know what I'm saying?
Man, what's been going on with you, man?
Man, a lot, bro. Been really, really busy. It's been a great season. You know what I mean?
You back in the loo now?
Back in the loo, loving the city. You know what I'm saying? Working on new music, working with an organization, so doing things in the city. So just really trying to be connected while at the same time working on stuff. You know?
Yeah. This vibe with Foreign is like a good space for you, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's
yeah.
it's almost like you just poured some wine into some new wine skins.
Hey, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's interesting. I know a few people were like, man, he doing something different, a little skeptical about it. I
was one of those people.
But, you know, like, it's crazy because I just really try to make music off the feeling that I'm feeling. So being back in my city and the energy from it, I'm around dudes who in and out the penitentiary, and you know what I mean? So it was just an energy I was feeling. And shout out to D Hood, D on the track. They produced the whole project.
Wow.
And you'll hear more about the squad, Dead Heroes. But, you know, just really being in the lab and grinding and being back around my fam. Like, because you got to think my last 3 albums I made in Iowa.
In Iowa. He was in Iowa.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just a different feel, a different vibe. So I was really pushing myself flow-wise, trying to make sure that the rapping is good, trying to make sure that the hooks were done well, and then trying to make sure that the content was present. You know what I mean?
You told me something the other day, bro, and I can't believe all these years we've known each other, I didn't know this, and I was so impressed by it. But you don't write nothing down.
Don't write nothing down. I have not written anything down since City Lights, bro.
How do you train yourself to do that?
The funny thing is, I'm going to give a shout out to Jafar Life. Like, he one of the dudes that kind of like encouraged me to do it. When I was working on City Lights, I was writing my verse for Crank It Up. Man, I was really feeling the beat, and I was in the studio, and
that was a turn
a big
joint.
record at that point.
Yeah.
And Jafar Life was like, bro, you should just go in there and just see what come out. You know, so it started off with me going in the studio, playing the beat. I'll record a board, think, record the next board, think, record. It started off like that.
Yeah.
Then it just progressed from that into me just saying, well, I feel better when I ain't putting stuff down on paper. So what I may have is I might have a bar that I thought of here and there, but the whole rap itself is written in my head, and I typically go right in and record it. I feel like it's a better vibe if I don't have to read off nothing while recording.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then it just allows me the freedom to that's why I can perform my lyrics at any point, because I never really forget them because they locked in. So
I was going to say, it probably helps your flow be a little bit more, loose, and you can play with different textures because you're not thinking about what's my next line. It's just you already.
Yep,
it's
you just
already
kind
in
of
the
going
bank.
off the cuff and just trying to, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I write everything in my head and then I record it. Yeah, man.
So how far back do you go memorizing songs?
Ooh, man. I remember.
Could you perform Crank It Up right now? I mean, that's a while. That's.
I could perform "Crank It Up" if the beat came on. So if you asked me to spit it a cappella, I wouldn't be able to do it.
I wouldn't do that to you.
but if the beat came on and the hook came on, and I would literally be able to probably just run into the verse. You know what I'm saying? So, but there was a point earlier on in my career where I knew everybody's verses. So dudes that tell you I travel, I knew everybody's verses. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Tupac fan. I can literally rap at almost every Tupac song verbatim to this day. So, you know.
That was something I never developed that skill, was that good memory, bro.
Hey, look, the funny thing, my wife would tell you, I don't remember nothing else.
But you remember the lyrics. You remember the lyrics.
Absolutely.
That's good, man. So this was like your first project working with one production team too.
No. So for No Filter, I had a production team.
Okay.
So it was
I think I realized that then.
A few other people like out of Miami that we kind of work with, and JR kind of, A&R their project, the No Filter project. This was more so D&D hood of young dudes that I probably have been around for at least 10 plus years.
Okay.
So these are dudes that I've kind of watched grow. And I just was like, I want that young dude sound. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, let's just get in and vibe. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how the sound.
And you said this is going to turn into a series. Like
so this is volume 1. Okay. So it'll be a volume 2 and Lord willing, so on and so forth. And every time you go to the foreign project, it'll have this kind of feel to it of whatever is the now.
Yep.
Also, if you listen to foreign, like, it's not a lot of depth that you would normally get from my albums.
It's definitely
you know
not,
what I'm
bro.
saying?
Yeah,
so my albums, I talk about a lot more weighty subject matter, stuff like that. But this just kind of, it's a little bit more light, and it's like, man, I could just go hit play and just enjoy this mug. Like, it ain't really like you got to sit. I mean, there's some dope lyrical content, stuff like that.
I mean, you spit.
Yeah,
you spit.
Still trying to, but it's not like it's a lot of weight, to the songs. Live is probably the most weighty song, and that's the record just kind of talking about the landscape of everything that I see that's kind of going on. So,
man, let me ask you this, man. Lamp Mode, bro. What is the future? What's the vision for Lamp Mode right now?
It's a really good question, man. We're still in a transition process, so right now I'm looking to sign about 3 or 4 people.
Really?
Yeah, and I got at least 2 of those people in the cuff that I'll be signing. I can't let that information go just yet.
Of course.
But I do kind of have those things in the cuff. A lot of guys that are currently on the label are either planting churches, doing a lot of other stuff. So, but everybody currently is working on music. So Shai's working on a project right now.
What?
Timothy Brindle is finishing up a project and a book. Hazakim is finishing up a project. SO is finishing up an EP. And obviously I just dropped Foreign. So everybody's actually grinding and working. But just really trying to add new people to the roster, some guys that are kind of really ready to kind of invest a lot of time in the music, and that's kind of what we're on now. So next year, you'll kind of start seeing us roll out some of that stuff. Also, we're going to continue with the Chopping Block brand. So we're going to start.
Chopping Block was so good, bro.
Yeah, man. So we're about to start a Chopping Block podcast.
Nice.
So we'll be talking about all topics, though. It won't just be theological. It'll be what's going on in the world. It'll be music. We'll be bringing other artists in, interviewing them on the Chopping Block. And we're also going to be starting a Chopping Block conference. So next year, we'll start the conference. Next year, it'll be jumping off in L.A. And we've partnered with a dope church. And our heartbeat is going to be to do it regionally, as it progresses. And we want to donate a portion of those proceeds to urban ministries, so urban local churches. So if we do the conference in New York, for example, we want to identify an urban church that's solid sound, is really doing their thing, and we just want to donate a portion of those proceeds to that local church. So we want to support local churches. We want to support sound theology. We want to support, things like what's happening here at the Legacy Conference, So that's the heart.
That's good, man. It seems like y'all got a whole new freshness getting ready to take place at Lamp Mode, man.
Yeah, man. And it took a minute to kind of get to that because, the industry has changed a lot. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't understand that the fabric is different. You know what I mean?
Like different.
So much different, bro. So understanding that, and then that makes you, so you're already going through a transition. Anybody that's worked with any business, even in corporate America, anytime a transition takes place, it could take a year or two before things kind of settle their ground. You know, it's like buying a new house. You know, after a while it settles and couple nails start pop, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So we in a phase where I think we kind of know what we want to do. We ready to take some chances to do it, and now we're just trying to add the people to the roster to make that happen.
That's good, man. That's really good, bro. How has this journey been for you as president of the label, bro? Because I remember, when when you was first going to the label, then we did the interview with me, you, and Josh, DJ Essence.
Yep.
Announcing you as the president, and it's like now getting ready to kind of go into this new phase, man.
It's difficult, man. Having a label is more than just putting out albums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of dudes really understand that. They like the idea of a label. You know what I'm saying? So it has been definitely difficult, but it's also been enjoyable. You know what I mean? Like working through things and stuff like that. So I'm kind of built for this. You know what I'm saying? I'm built for being in leadership positions. I'm also the director of a program in St. Louis. So I got a lot going on my plate. So really it's a matter of understanding that you need the right team to make that stuff happen. So identifying and finding those pieces is what we're really looking for. So not just artist-wise, but people to make the machine run. And I'm sure you know that from what you're doing and, just seeing the pieces you've been able to put together with what you got going on as well. So
it's a challenge, man. It's like, you got to read leadership books.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? Just
real talk.
Managing personalities and reiterating a vision, man. It's bro. That in and of itself, sometimes you spend more time doing that than you do the creative stuff, which is what you're super passionate about. And it's like, but you're like, I got to get the infrastructure right so that people can get a chance to access and appreciate the creative.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, like, I'm a visionary. I'm not a detail guy. So knowing that about myself, like I'm always thinking about big ideas, but I need people that's going to help take those big ideas
and implement them.
And implement them. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have that piece, then you may still get some of that stuff accomplished, but it won't be as impactful as it could be. It won't be as frequent as it needs to be, and it won't have the longevity that it could have as a result of that. So.
That's good, bro.
Yeah.
When you look at, as we talked a little bit about how the landscape of the music industry has changed, how have you guys had to adjust? Because, even I was talking to, I think it was Jay Gibbons, who was backstage, and we were talking about how even now, not as many people actually buy albums anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So even financially, how you support this is different because you got streaming. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It's funny, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were just talking about, really it's a matter of recognizing that you have to adjust. So you can't get mad at the system. This is the system.
Yes, it is what it is,
you know what I mean?
bro.
It ain't no changing it. And one of the points that a friend of mine made was it just kind of reminds you of the business industry when, internet and technology hit and people were going from, writing receipts and doing everything hand to now needing emails. And some people didn't want to make that adjustment. They're like, nah, I don't want to do that. It's just a fad. It's going to pass.
Yeah.
And those were the businesses that end up crumbling and falling.
Blockbuster Video.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So Redbox. So just saying that to say, one of the things we're recognizing is, dudes may have to lower budgets. You got to be thinking through, like, how can I spend money in a better way? And we're kind of like adopting. Have you seen the movie Moneyball?
Oh yeah.
So we're like, we the Oakland A's. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let's make.
So you Billy Bean out here, huh?
You feel me? You feel me? Like, so like rather than try to keep up with the Joneses and bat the way other people bat, hit the way other people hit, like we just gonna focus on runs. You know what I mean?
Gotta play small ball.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's kind of like the guy who says, I want to shoot a music video, right? he only got $500, but he want to do it big. So he try to do all this stuff, and then it ends up looking cheesy. When really he should have took that $500 and just did a very, very basic music video, and it would have felt like something bigger because it would have been clean, it would have been nice, and it wouldn't have felt like you was trying to have planes and do, you know what I mean, all this big stuff that you're unable to really do and pull off. So, and that's really the same idea, you know what I mean? So don't keep up with the Joneses. Accept that the changes are happening, and then find ways that you can capitalize on the way things are now. So with streaming, it's like, well, push people to streaming then. You know what I mean? That means you may not have to press up CDs. That means that, create playlists, let people, you know what I mean? And you can create a nice little stream of income. And if you're traveling, you always going to be able to sell records on the road, you know what I'm saying? And now the people that are telling you they don't want to buy nothing in front of you, they going to leave and get it, you know what I mean? Or they going to leave and listen to it. So it's different ways that you could look at it, you know what I mean? And accepting that and then finding out ways to adjust is really the most important thing.
I feel like this is the era, man, that if you can perform live, you can really win because I think people appreciate live shows more.
Absolutely.
Just being able to experience the music and, if you got a visual element or whatever you got with it, you can create a whole experience off of that.
Yeah, live shows are really important, man. It's when you get to, it's a difference between hearing music and being in a show and connecting with the feeling of it live.
Sure.
It just does something, but it's up to the artist to make that connection happen. And that don't even always mean you got to have big lights. That don't mean everybody got to know your song either.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a way you can perform in a way by which people feel like, I connected to that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's the setup, man. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, bro. And I can tell you, man, just having seen you perform over the years, even in different venues, like obviously Legacy, but New York and just some other places, man. It's like you've always taken that part of your craft super serious,
definitely, and
been super intentional about what you're trying to communicate when you're on the stage and how it connects to people.
Yeah, and trying to learn, man, learning from others. One thing that I always say, I don't have it all. So I'm looking at others, watching others. There's times I spend time on YouTube just looking at people's performances and thinking through how can I incorporate some of these things? For me, a live performance for me is,
I do that with DJs all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So a live performance for me is like a roller coaster. I want you to experience different emotions.
Sure.
To me, that's important. I don't want you to do this the entire time I'm on the stage. Sure. I'm not that artist. Sometimes you got a few minutes and you can't do too much other stuff. But in most cases, I want you, there's an icebreaker. So I'm starting off with something to get it engaged, like having a meeting. There's an icebreaker. Boom. From the icebreaker, I want to take you into the high energy. Let's start off at the top. You know what I mean? And I just want to really get you into it. Then we go reflective. I want you to reflect on some things. Let's think on some things. Let's process some things. And then I want to encourage you in the things you've been, reflecting on. And then from there, let's go back energetic and rejoice over all of the things that, you know what I mean, we were able to reflect and overcome. So for me, that's the process of me when I'm creating a set in most cases. Let's go. I want you to cry, laugh, and sweat at a concert. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of emotions.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That's good, man. So Jay, man, what you got next coming up this next little season for you personally?
Yeah, man. So I'm actually, like I said, I'm the director of a program called Mission St. Louis. Okay. We work with dudes who, between the ages of 22 to 35, most of these dudes have been to the penitentiary from a year to 20 years. You know what I mean? None of these dudes are believers, you know what I mean? So it's not a Christian organization necessarily, though it's ran by Christians.
Sure.
And we take dudes through a boot camp. We teach them financial literacy.
Nice.
We teach them job training. So we have HRs from different companies that come in, and then we teach manhood. We put a mentor in each one of these guys' lives, and we've built relationships with businesses throughout St. Louis. So we connect these guys with internships at these businesses, and then those internships for a lot of our guys turn into jobs. So really it's a way to provide dudes who's struggling to find a job with an opportunity to not just have a job, but to wrestle through the way that they think and the way that they see things. So for me, that's it's so rewarding, man. You know, so my heartbeat has always been to keep my boots to the ground. You know what I mean? So I'm the director of that program. It's called Mission St. Louis. It's been amazing. We're looking to grow that. You know what I mean? And really serve dudes in our city. So personally, that's big. And then obviously I'm a part of the Gate Church where Kyle and my brother Kenny, they're the pastors there. So, you know, trying to be involved there to whatever degree that I can and just serving, man. So I want to stay connected to the things that have always kept me so that they will always keep me. It's really good. Basic, you know.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
It's always good chopping, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Wado Radio.